A strong presence dominates the icy waters of the southern hemisphere, the leopard seal. These sleek predators, masters of the hunt, have an uncanny resemblance to us humans, and as they congregate near our outposts, a strange dance of caution unfolds. While we may not be their usual prey, the line blurs on the ice, where our waddle mimics the characteristic penguin shuffle. Join the primal drama of survival, where predator instincts and human quirks collide in a compelling exhibition on the frozen stage. Here are 3 stories of this leopard seal that killed 5 people in 8 minutes. Mariner's Sanctuary, nestled between towering cliffs and the massive Southern Ocean, served as a coastal sanctuary for wildlife enthusiasts looking for the thrill of up-close encounters with nature. The Ocean View Sanctuary, a cutting-edge facility meant to display the grace and power of leopard seals, was the town's focal point in the mid-1990s. A tragic ordeal occurred in 1991. Jack Mitchell, a seasoned marine biologist recognized for his ability to study the behavior of these fearless underwater critters, was at the center of this growing story. Jack's life's work had elevated him to a recognized person, attracting tourists eager to see the unusual interaction between humans and seals in specially created enclosures. Nicole Harper, an inquisitive journalist with a penchant for unearthing extraordinary stories, arrived in Mariner's Haven with her cameraman, Kevin Turner. Their aim was simple: record the fascinating interactions between humans and leopard seals in exchange for an exclusive scoop. The atmosphere at Ocean View Sanctuary buzzed with enthusiasm as the trio joined a guided tour conducted by Dr. Emily Rodriguez, a passionate marine biologist. Visitors were attracted by the underwater dance visible through the enclosure's thick glass walls as they marveled at the seals' joyful antics. They had no idea that fate had a different plan for them. The sanctuary's architecture intended to provide a safe vantage point for onlookers, but nature had other ideas. Enthralled by the seals, a group of tourists unintentionally came across an unlocked fence. The line between spectators and the show faded instantly as they found themselves within the enclosure, separated from the seals by nothing more than fate. Jack Mitchell, Nicole Harper, Kevin Turner, Miranda Lawson, and David Parkman were thrown into danger. The once docile leopard seals became territorial and aggressive due to the intrusion, converting the lovely scene into a fight between humans and uncontrolled carnivores. In the midst of the mayhem, Jack's knowledge proved to be a lifeline. He led the group into the enclosure, navigating the uneven terrain while the sleek predators swirled beneath the water's surface, drawing on years of research. Ever the journalist, Nicole intuitively captured the growing horror while Kevin, armed only with his camera, bore witness to the survival fight. Miranda and David, paralyzed by dread at first, found strength in Jack's leadership. The group's goal was simple: avoid the leopard seal's unrelenting pursuit and leave the enclosure within an 8-minute deadline. The refuge was filled with despair and animal impulse. The once jovial seals, now silent predators, slid across the water with deadly accuracy. As the survivors battled with the idea that they were in a race against nature itself, each passing instant increased the stress. Bonds forged in the face of adversity. As the group moved through the enclosure, their every move was shadowed by the ever-present fear of the silent predators. The conflict to be resolved was visceral: outmaneuver, outwit, and eventually survive the unrelenting pursuit. In less than 8 minutes, the survivors made their way to the sanctuary's exit, gasping for air as they left the enclosure behind. The recollection of an encounter with uncontrolled creatures now haunted the once peaceful Ocean View Sanctuary. The escape, however, was brief. The quiet predators pounced with lethal precision as the group emerged from the enclosure. The group succumbed to the continuous attack in a sequence of heartbreaking events. Jack battled bravely, utilizing his knowledge to protect the others, but nature's might was immovable. Nicole, Kevin, Miranda, David, and tragically Jack himself, once vibrant and alive, succumbed to the ruthless grip of the Southern Ocean's silent sharks. The resolution was met with a chilling quiet. Mariner's Haven, once a haven for nature lovers, now stood as a gloomy reminder of the unpredictable nature lurking beneath the surface. This leopard seal struck became more than just a cautionary tale. It became a terrible episode in the town's history. imprinted on the collective memory of those who watched the cruel confrontation. The enclosures, intended to provide a look into the wild, became emblems of intrigue and danger. The narrative echoed through time, instilling fear in residents and future tourists about the silent predators that lurked in the ocean's depths and the inevitable risks that came with entering into the untamed environment. The tragedy was a sharp reminder that, even amid professionals and supposedly secure circumstances, nature's vengeance would unfold in the blink of an eye, forever altering the story of those who dared to venture too near the wild. Mariners Haven struggled to cope with the devastating loss in the aftermath. As inhabitants lamented the lives cut short in the pursuit of understanding and connection with the natural world, the once bustling coastal town became wrapped in a solemn mood. The tragedy's news spread well beyond the town's limits, igniting a nationwide debate about the ethics of animal sanctuaries and the possible hazards lying within ostensibly regulated habitats. Ocean View Sanctuary came under close investigation, and questions were raised regarding the effectiveness of the safety precautions. Once unblemished, Jack's reputation now bore the weight of the lives sacrificed under his watch. The seasoned marine researcher found himself in a maelstrom of controversy, battling with guilt and terrible recollections of that tragic day. The scientific community, too, was forced to reflect, reassessing the trade-off between conservation efforts and the inherent risks involved. The victims' families, scattered across the country, mourned the untimely and senseless loss of their loved ones. Each name, Nicole Harper, Kevin Turner, Miranda Lawson, David Parkman, and Jack Mitchell, was imprinted in the collective memory of a nation in grief. As the investigation progressed, revelations emerged regarding oversights and process violations. The unprotected gate, which seemed insignificant, became a focal point of blame and remorse. The incident shone a light on the management of Ocean View Sanctuary, exposing systemic flaws that allowed for a catastrophic breach in safety. Following the public outrage, legal battles erupted. The victims' relatives demanded justice, demanding accountability from those responsible for the errors that led to the terrible encounter. Ocean View Sanctuary had financial consequences and a significant loss of confidence from the people it once served. The incident's media frenzy drew attention to bigger flaws in the wildlife tourist sector. The fine line between displaying nature and exploiting it for human amusement was called into question, forcing a rethinking of the ethical implications of keeping wild animals in captivity. Mariners Haven struggled for months to find healing. The once thriving coastal town was now scarred by a tragedy that had changed its character. Ocean View Sanctuary, once a source of pride, now stands as a melancholy reminder of the lives lost and the communal responsibility to preserve both humans and the wild animals that inhabit our Earth. As the town began its sluggish recovery, a memorial was created to remember the fallen. The names Nicole, Kevin, Miranda, David, and Jack served as a solemn reminder of the cost of unraveling nature's mysteries. The ordeal became more than just a cautionary tale, but a catalyst for change. The ripple effect spread beyond Mariners Haven, impacting the management of wildlife sanctuaries and spurring a broader discussion on the ethical duties inherent in human interactions with the wild. Ultimately, the tragedy served as a painful reminder of the difficult balance between the desire to connect with nature and the inherent hazards such attempts entail. Mariners Haven faced a future forever shaped by the enduring legacy of those 8 fateful minutes when silent predators claimed the lives of 5 unsuspecting souls, including the very expert who dedicated his life to understanding and protecting them. As the town healed and the scars faded, the cage, now stained with a pool of blood, became a solemn tribute to the brutal truths of the wild world, acting as a silent warning to those who came too close. The echoes of that awful day persisted not only in the villagers' recollections, but also in the collective awareness of a world forced to confront the frailty of the line separating humans from the wild. The frosty expanse of Antarctica was enveloped by bitter winds that swept across vast expanses of ice and snow. In this desolate landscape, an incident unfolded, sending shockwaves through the scientific community and leaving a haunting mark on the icy terrain. The story of survival turned tragedy echoed through time as it recounted the day when a seemingly docile leopard seal transformed into a relentless predator, claiming 5 lives in just 8 harrowing minutes. The events took place in 1987 on the desolate shores of Antarctica at a remote research station called Frostwatch. Dr. Isabella Munro, a highly esteemed marine biologist, took charge of a team of skilled scientists who embarked on a groundbreaking expedition to investigate the behavior of leopard seals in their pristine natural habitat. The station was surrounded by jagged ice cliffs and frigid waters, and offered a unique vantage point for observing these fearless creatures. As the tale began, Dr. Munro and her team, consisting of seasoned researchers Alexei Ivanov and Emily Thompson, were preparing to welcome a group of international tourists eager to witness the wondrous world of leopard seals. Among the tourists was Jonathan Mitchell, a photographer who had a penchant for adventure and was always seeking thrilling experiences. On the other hand, Olivia Harper was an ardent nature enthusiast who approached every expedition with boundless enthusiasm and a deep appreciation for the natural world. There was also Marcus and Evelyn Caldwell, an elderly couple who had harbored a lifelong dream of embarking on a journey to Antarctica and finally witnessing its awe-inspiring wonders firsthand. Excitement filled the icy air as the tourists arrived, donning their insulated gear and holding their cameras tightly. Dr. Munro provided a thorough briefing on the significance of maintaining a safe distance from the seals and showing respect toward their natural habitat. The tour was kicked off by taking a boat ride to the enclosed edge of the ice, where a colony of leopard seals resided. The seals were lazily lounging on the ice floes, creating a serene atmosphere. The visitors were unaware that a massive male leopard seal named Thor by the researchers was lurking beneath the icy surface. Thor, who was unusually territorial, eyed the intruders with a mix of curiosity and suspicion. The tourists were marveling at the seals from the safety of the observation platform when an unforeseen mishap occurred. Marcus Caldwell, who had ignored the safety guidelines, stumbled and tumbled into the icy waters. Panic ensued as Evelyn screamed for help. Within moments, a transformation occurs in the tranquil Antarctic enclave, turning it into a nightmarish scene filled with chaos. Sensing the intrusion, Thor darted toward the fallen tourist. Before anyone could react, the colossal leopard seal clamped its powerful jaws around Marcus, pulling him beneath the freezing waters. The horrifying reality began to set in as the realization dawned upon them. This was not just a mere encounter, but rather a fierce battle for their very survival. The tour guide, Kevin Patterson, radioed for emergency assistance as chaos erupted on the observation platform. The remaining tourists were gripped by terror as they scrambled to safety, but Thor showed no mercy and continued his relentless pursuit. The leopard seal breached the icy surface in a fierce display of power, forcefully dragging Marcus onto the platform. Marcus gasped for breath, feeling the intensity of Thor's aggression increasing. Armed with a flare gun, Kevin attempted to fend off the relentless predator. Meanwhile, the research team became aware of the gravity of the situation. It immediately sprang into action, mobilizing their efforts to provide assistance to the tourists who had become trapped in the enclosure. The clock mercilessly ticked as the standoff between man and beast ensued. During the chaotic scene, Olivia Harper slipped, and her fate was sealed as Thor turned its attention towards her. Olivia was subjected to a gruesome spectacle in the once serene enclave as the leopard seal, fueled by primal instincts, mercilessly inflicted fatal injuries upon her. The scene unfolded in a brutal ballet of survival. As Thor had transformed into a formidable force of nature, he became an unstoppable juggernaut, relentlessly claiming lives in his pursuit. The research team was gripped by desperation as they deployed emergency protocols. After the authorities were notified, a helicopter raced against time to reach Frost's Watch. The injured and traumatized tourists were huddling together as they found their escape route being cut off by the relentless predator. The once pristine ice became stained with blood, serving as a solemn testament to the unfolding tragic events. The distant thud of the helicopter blades filled the air, capturing everyone's attention. Thor, the relentless force of destruction, had already claimed the lives of Marcus, Evelyn, Alexei, Jonathan, and Olivia, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. Now its attention shifted towards the remaining survivors who braced themselves for the impending danger. The research team devised a daring plan to distract the predator, which allowed the tourists a narrow window to escape. In the heart-pounding climax, the final minutes unfolded as the only survivor, Dr. Monroe, narrowly evaded Thor's deadly grasp. The rescue team arrived, and their presence forced the leopard seal back into the depths. The rampage forever scarred the icy enclave as it bore witness to the aftermath of a tragedy that defied the boundaries of nature. After the harrowing encounter, the research team grappled with the aftermath's consequences. Dr. Monroe, haunted by the memories of that fateful day, solemnly vowed to raise awareness about the dangers of wildlife encounters in remote environments. The leopard seal's rampage became a cautionary tale, serving as a chilling reminder of the untamed forces that lay hidden beneath the icy surface of Antarctica. The serene enclave, which was once filled with tranquility, now resounded with the haunting echoes of a predator. This vicious creature, whose wrath forever changed the lives of those unfortunate enough to witness it, left an indelible mark on the tranquil community. The world was watching in shock as the incident of the leopard seal continued to live on. It served as a cautionary tale, reminding all of the unpredictability of nature and the delicate balance between fascination and peril in the untamed corners of our planet. The Leopard Seal Sanctuary, an enigmatic attraction, stood nestled within the icy embrace of Glacial Haven, a small coastal town surrounded by towering cliffs and frigid waters. In 1993, the city was gripped by winter's icy fingers as an unforgettable tale of terror unfolded. Those seeking the beauty of the Arctic had turned the quaint town of Glacial Haven, located in a remote corner of an unnamed country, into a haven. In the late 90s, they established the Leopard Seal Sanctuary, which encased thick walls of transparent ice, providing visitors with a captivating glimpse into the lives of these magnificent creatures. A group of 5 tourists arrived to experience the unique charm of the sanctuary, starting the story. Each visitor stood with a distinct background. Jake Reynolds sought adventure as a thrill seeker. Sarah Mitchell was drawn to seals due to her fascination as a marine biologist. Emma Thompson had an eye for the extraordinary and embarked on adventures as a photographer. Dr. Richard Lawson, a retired physician, sought solace in the serene landscapes of the Arctic. A young artist, Lily Harper, hoped to find inspiration in the pristine surroundings. The narrative explored the picturesque setting of Glacial Haven. It provided a detailed description of the town's history, the establishment of the Leopard Seal Sanctuary, and the region's unique ecological balance. Frostbite, a massive leopard seal, reigned as the crown jewel in the sanctuary, which was surrounded by snow-covered cliffs and housed a variety of seals. While exploring the sanctuary, the group witnessed breathtaking visuals of the leopard seals gracefully navigating the icy waters. The tension mounted as Frostbite, who is usually docile, displayed an unusual aggression, causing shockwaves among the group. An unknown force drives the leopard seal to launch a sudden attack, causing panic. The tourists, who were initially captivated by the beauty of the seals, found themselves engaged in a desperate struggle for survival. A heart-pounding sequence unfolds as they chase through the sanctuary's icy maze, blending the Arctic's serene beauty with the imminent danger lurking beneath the frozen surface. The group, having realized the danger they were in, tried to flee from the enclosure. However, an unexplained aggression fueled Frostbite as it relentlessly pursued them. The leopard seal chased the tourists, turning the icy sanctuary into a deadly battleground as they desperately sought refuge. The group outsmarted the predator by employing their individual skills as the conflict intensified. Jake bravely distracted Frostbite, fueled by adrenaline, giving the others valuable seconds to escape. Sarah, who had a deep understanding of marine biology, strategized to outmaneuver the relentless predator. Emma's camera transformed into a tool for documentation and a makeshift weapon as it captured the chaos in the icy enclosure. The injured relied on Dr. Lawson's medical expertise, transforming the struggle for survival into a challenge of resilience and resourcefulness. The tourists fought against the odds, taking the viewers on a roller coaster of emotions, with each moment adding to the tension of the narrative. The tourists, despite trying their best, found themselves cornered once again. With its almost supernatural intelligence, the leopard seal anticipated their every move. The viewers witnessed the chilling moment as the predator closed in on its prey, casting an ominous shadow over the hapless group with its massive form. The tourists were left battered and injured as the leopard seal struck in a dramatic turn of events. Tension thickened the air as the realization sank in. Survival was no longer guaranteed. Summoning every ounce of strength, the group confronted their impending fate, bringing them to despair. Frostbite was approaching its climax as the tourist made a final stand. The conflict peaked in a terrifying 8-minute struggle, each moment filled with suspense. The visitors were left there, unsure of the fate that awaited them. The leopard seal relentlessly pursued until it reached a final confrontation, where the boundaries between prey and predator became blurred. The tourists fought for survival in the icy enclosure of Glacial Haven, and their last desperate moments were etched into the unforgiving landscape. The group was confronted with the aftermath of the deadly encounter as the tragic story reached its resolution. The tourists, despite making valiant efforts, succumbed to their injuries one by one. The leopard seal retreated into the icy depths of the enclosure, leaving behind a scene of tragedy as its aggression was inexplicably triggered. The chilly air of Glacial Haven hung thick with a gloomy calm in the aftermath of the traumatic experience within the leopard seal refuge. Emergency reaction crews skillfully crossed the hazardous terrain surrounding the freezing enclosure, dressed in insulated gear to resist the bitter cold. As expert rescue specialists cautiously negotiated through the labyrinthine passageways, their breath apparent in the frigid Arctic air, the collection of the deceased bodies became a mournful operation. The retrieval crews labored painstakingly, deploying specialist equipment to safely extricate the victims from the enclosure's freezing embrace out of genuine respect for the fallen. Each motionless figure was treated with dignity, in sharp contrast to the turmoil that had just occurred. A collective quiet fell over the bystanders as the injured were carefully taken to waiting ambulances, the weight of the tragedy resonating across the frozen expanse of Glacial Haven. The sanctuary, once a symbol of wonder, now witnessed the consequences of crossing the line between the untamed and the human. The events that took place within the Leopard Seal Sanctuary forever changed Glacial Haven, and the epilogue reveals this transformation. The town, now seen as a symbol of wonder and tragedy, remained as evidence of the untamed forces that resided in the icy wilderness. The once fascinating sanctuary turned into a memorial for the fallen. The survivors grapple with the emotional aftermath as they are haunted by the specter of Frostbite's deadly embrace. Those who witnessed the chilling events were left with a sad reflection on the delicate balance between the beauty and danger inherent in the Arctic, which left an indelible mark on their hearts and minds. The expansive narrative of Glacier Haven reveals a story of survival, tragedy, and the unpredictable nature of the wild. The leopard seal, which was once seen as a symbol of beauty, transformed into a bringer of fear, leaving its deadly legacy permanently imprinted in the frozen landscapes of Glacial Haven. It was a world where the line between fascination and peril blurs, leaving an unforgettable imprint on the untamed canvas of the Arctic.